Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 57. I'm Ian Scott.
And I'm not having diss tracks written about me this week.
Yeah, there's some people out there having diss tracks. You're right.
This is quite a week for diss tracks. And I'm glad they're not being written about me.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Zack Huber. I'm the
there you go.
Guy. Yeah.
That's the other guy right there. And this is the podcast where we talk about film and TV topics from the last week and give them to you all this week. And we got a few trailers, like always, to go over with you. And I'll let you take it from there. You know.
Yep, we are going to talk about. Have you ever wanted to watch a movie from the villain's perspective in a horror movie? Well, you get it in a Violent Nature trailer. We're talking about a trailer that's coming to a show that's coming to Netflix called Eric with Benedict Cumberbatch, which I don't even know what's going on there. There's a missing kid, and he wants to lure him back with a puppet. We're going to talk about Death Claws being confirmed for Fallout Season 2. Anthony Mackie's Captain America's new look and a helmet. Chris Evans coming back to the MCU. We have a hypothetical, as always. And our first topic, which is about Mufasa, the Lion King, which is being directed by Barry Jenkins, who did Moonlight, the Oscar award-winning movie, and
heard it's very good.
I haven't seen it. I feel ashamed.
I haven't either.
I feel
agree.
like I shouldn't even be, I shouldn't be allowed to have a podcast about movies, considering I haven't seen all the Oscar-nominated movies. But here we are, and so this trailer came out, and it's a prequel to the live-action Lion King, quote unquote live action Lion King, that came out in 2019. And you guessed it, it's about Mufasa, Simba's dad.
Because it's called Mufasa the Lion King.
The Lion King, which I'm not gonna lie, like maybe it should have just been called Mufasa, because like the Lion King is Simba.
Well, but he'll become the Lion King.
I know, but like, don't you think like it's like what? Anyways.
Yeah, sure.
So I think because of the voice casting on here, which if we go down to it, Seth Rogen's back, Billy Eichner is back as Pumbaa and Simone.
Donald Glover and Beyonce are back.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like you said, Donald Glover and Beyonce's daughter, which
Blue Ivy. Okay.
I'm guessing that's probably.
I think that's so
like
basically
Simba and Nala.
Right from.
What's her name?
Simba and Nala. You got
Nala.
it.
Yeah.
So from what I've heard about the movie is that basically it starts off in like as a sequel to the first movie, where they're like telling the story of Mufasa to, I think, their daughter Kiara is her name.
Yeah.
And so I don't know like how much of the movie is going to be about them. I mean, for them to return seems pretty substantial. Like they're pretty prominent actors and celebrities, and
it gives me the feeling of the Princess Bride, where it's like, well, this is a book that I read to your father when he was about your age.
Yeah.
And then they interject and they're like, wait, what happened? He's like, I was going to finish the story. Or
I would love that too. If that's not like kind of resembling what I'm thinking of like Princess Bride, but like as the story is going on and like as each interruption goes or each interruption happens, like more people from the cast or like more animals from the cast are like crowded around, like listening to the story.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That like, it makes me think of that, or it's like, and this is ridiculous, but Godfather Part 2.
What? Okay, let me hear this.
Where there's a story being told, and I think this is unlikely, but there's a story going on with Simba, Nala, and Kiara. And then there's a separate story with Mufasa, but they all are connecting at the same time.
I think it could be that way because like you see in the trailer, like Simone and Wow, I'm forgetting
Timon,
Timon. I mean, and
Pumbaa.
Pumbaa. Yeah, okay. Those two are like there's like a little like action scene in the trailer with those two, and you're like, well, Mufasa definitely didn't meet them, so like,
Yeah.
like what's going on there?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's it feels like one of those or both.
right. Well, I mean, I guess if it's truly a story being told the whole time to
Well,
like
I mean,
people, then it can't really be both. But
and here on the IMDb it says Simba, having become king of the Pride Lands, is determined for his cub to follow in his paw prints, while the origins of his late father Mufasa are explored.
yeah, yeah. I
So is
mean,
there like, oh, your father did this and I've come back? I don't know. And then we learn about Mufasa. I don't know. I don't know how this story's gonna
yeah,
go, but
it's interesting for sure. And I guess not anything to do with the story itself, but like I think it like when I was watching this, I immediately was feeling like, wow, I would be so much more hype if this was like, set in the animated universe and like was actually an animated movie and brought James Earl Jones back. And, I just think that is the movie I have a connection to, not this live action 2019 movie.
right.
So yeah, and I don't like I know it made a lot of money at the box office that first one, but like I I don't believe it was like crazily well received. I think a lot of people had a problem with like how lifeless not voices, the faces looked for all the animals because it was so photorealistic.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe they'll fix some of those things in this one and people will have a better reception to it, but
Yeah.
might have like a bad taste in their mouth from the last one.
I don't know. I don't really know how people feel about this stuff. I mean, I think the fact that Barry Jenkins wanted to tell this story, and I know he is speaking about this movie at CinemaCon, and
Mhm.
he has a lot of memories associated with the animated movie, and he had an idea for this movie. So there's something like exciting about that.
Sure. A
And
passionate storyteller is always cool.
and full disclosure, like I did not watch the quote unquote live action movie. I didn't watch it.
I
Um,
didn't either.
I and this is just maybe I will watch it. I don't really feel like I need to, even if I go and watch this movie. Maybe I'm wrong,
No, and I already know a
but
bunch of like the things that were changed in the live action version, and like it just doesn't make me want to go see it at all. Honestly,
yeah. I
like
mean,
it
maybe I'll go
just
back and maybe I'll go and like watch it if we're gonna watch this one. To be honest, like it's a cool idea, but I think like even though it's Barry Jenkins and whatnot, like I'm not like
it's hard for me to care, to be honest.
it's
Like
like in a way I'm glad that they're not just remaking one of their animated movies,
well, I
but
mean,
at
they already
this
did that, so they can't like do it again.
right. And I'm
Yeah,
also like not a huge prequel person per se. Um,
sure,
but who I mean, it looks fine. It looks okay,
sure. I mean,
Like
I mean, it looks as pretty as the last one.
yeah,
You
like
know,
the animation, the CGI looks great. I'm
sure.
not gonna deny that. Like
Yeah,
it looks good.
it's like real
Um,
animals. Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really do a whole lot for me, but
yeah,
interesting
yeah.
concept at least, I guess.
At least, and at least they have a good director tied to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, there's hopes.
sure, sure. But that's yeah, coming out December 20th this year.
Yeah.
So that's a long wait, but only 5 years from the first one. So
Yeah.
yeah, not too bad.
I mean, there was a pandemic, so
Yeah, no, understandable,
yeah.
understandable. Yeah, yeah. Well, so we have a hypothetical that goes along with this trailer here. I brought this one to the table. It is let's see here. Basically, if you could adapt any um if you could make a live action adaptation for any property, what would it be? And in parentheses, I kind of put, it doesn't have to be the same story. Could be like a prequel or sequel, like, this movie here, Mufasa. So, yeah.
Yeah, I decided to, there was two other picks, which were Ben 10.
Okay.
And there was a live action Ben 10, but it was a Cartoon Network movie and it was bad.
Yeah, no.
And Danny Phantom, which I think would also be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But it's not like, I'm not dying to see a Danny Phantom movie. But a movie.
There's talks about it, by the way. I don't know if you've heard that.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah. So, like, from what I've heard, that like they're like, the report was that they're trying to get Tom Holland to be Danny Phantom, and I'm like, he's too old. He's got to be a teenager.
He has to be a teenager.
Right.
And I also don't see him as Danny at all.
No, yeah, I don't either. Yeah.
But this is a book that got turned into an animated movie. And it is Disney's Treasure Planet.
Oh, wow. That's a good pick. It's a good pick, sir. I love Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet is such a good movie.
It's so good.
And
I gotta watch that again.
I know it's a good one. And
it's been too long.
It's a really great story about a young teenager, maybe almost young adult, named Jim Hawkins, who I forget, like he's kind of like, I don't know, like a ruffian, like kind of just, he kind of gets into trouble, but he's like really talented and he's just kind of lost, I would say. And I think and it's been a minute, but I think there's like some tie-in with his dad, and he finds this item that is supposed to take him to Treasure Planet. He gets mixed up with some pirates, which the main guy is Long John Silver, which is a ridiculous name, but he's a really cool dude with like this metal eye, and you got freaking is it Scroop or whatever, that like pink bubbly thing that's like his companion throughout the movie.
Couldn't tell you.
But like, you have Jim and then the captain who start to, they're kind of like against each other, but then they start to kind of have this like father-son connection, and then it kind of ends in a really sad but fulfilling way. And I think it's a great story, and I think it's like it's cool space story, adventure story. It feels like another one that would also like that's similar, that I think would be cool, is like an Atlantis movie. Like similar kind of vibe. They're like on this mission to go to this place that's crazy and no one's ever been there before. Right. So yeah, I think that would be my pick. I think like there's a lot of I don't know what the word is, but there's a lot there. Like it's like a 4-quadrant, like there's I think for like, everybody to watch that movie.
Like
and
all of the like world building and like I think it would be so cool to see in live action. I think one of those would like those kind of movies would adapt super well to live action rather than like a movie with all animals, Right. Yeah, so, that's a cool pick.
There's humans. There's a young person trying to find their way or trying to have this purpose, wants to like kind of coming of age. There's a parental figure. There's like and he's like the villain, but he's also like not entirely evil. There's this great story. There's this unique world of like, they're on pirate ships, but they're spaceships at the same time. And it's cool. Right.
Yeah.
I think there's a robot in it too. I forget. A nerdy robot. There's Captain Amelia, who was like the second hand. Or no, she's like the space navy that's like going after them, I think. I might be remembering that wrong. But anyways, Treasure Planet. That's my pick.
Nice. I like the pick. My pick is not. It's not necessarily like your 1-to-1 remake. Like, I mean, I know Disney doesn't do like 1-to-1 remakes, but you know, like they base it off of the original story. But mine would be based off of Iron Giant.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, one of my like favorite animated movies of all time. It's yeah, a great 50s kind of story about a kid and his giant robot and you know, him turning into his best friend and the government looking after the robot and trying to destroy it and it's just it's a great throwback and has all the good vibes. And my idea for that movie would be like, so I don't know if you remember the movie, like the ending of the movie, but like, you know, he goes up into the sky and like kind of sacrifices himself. But and so like they make the statue, right? They fall and like I don't know where it is, like some snowy like area, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
It's probably like Antarctica or something.
Right. And so like he's putting himself back together slowly, and like and then his eyes like light up and he smiles, I think, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so my thought would be like, I think so in the movie Hogarth, the main kid, he's 9 years old, and I would set it where it's like 10 years later. He's like
10 years.
Yeah, so he's an adult. He's like, so he's, you know, he just is able to like go out into the world, right? And I think you have it be like this movie where like the first one obviously feels like it's more mature than a normal kids movie, but it is still a kids movie and it feels like it sometimes. And so I think like the excuse to go into live action is making it, you know, like a more mature story, right? I think you said it where it's like he like, you know, he's been hearing about these sightings of the Iron Giant like around the world, and he like is now going out to go and like try and find the Iron Giant, right? And so I think you make the movie like two different perspectives. You have like the perspective of like the Iron Giant, what he's like been up to, like what his journey is, and then like Hogarth's journey to go and find him. And then somewhere like at the climax or like the middle of the movie, they kind of meet up. And like I don't like have like a full story in mind, but like I love that kind of like journey movie to like try and find your best friend or your wife or, you know, like whatever it is. And I think yeah, I don't know. I think you could get some cool moments from that.
But wouldn't the whole movie just be them like separate from each other?
Well, that's why I mean, like half the movie at least would be sure.
And are we to believe that it took 10 years for Hogarth to like?
No, I'm saying he went out like he couldn't like, you know, obviously he couldn't just like fully go run away from home, but like I think by the time he's 18, his mom can't be like, you can't go across the world, you know, like he can just go wherever he wants. And so it takes him like a year, maybe, you know, like
I feel like the Iron Giant would go back to him. When
maybe he like forgets his memory.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, I like the idea of a sequel to that movie could be cool for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like other sequel ideas just didn't seem as strong to me, you know, like one was like, you know, you get Hogarth and him back together and like a year after. And then like, I don't know, he's also has like this responsibility to the government now because like he's back and like, I don't know. There's just like, there's not like a lot of exciting story there.
Well,
or like you pair the Iron Giant with another kid and I'm like,
yeah. I mean, I feel like the thing that works about that movie is because it's a kid and like this, like it's like E.T., it's like Stranger Things, it's like well, not exactly Super 8, but like if you did it live action, you could kind of make it like a Super 8 in a way.
I love Super 8.
But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to make a sequel to it, you'd definitely be like, well, there's a lot the U.S. government has to answer for, including wanting to nuke a town where my son was still staying. So,
sure, just get the immediate fallout from that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's definitely not a fun time.
No, yeah. I just think the transition of like animated movie to 10 years down the line, we like jump to kind of like not gritty live action, but just like
Right.
a live action older Hogarth. I think it like the transition works really well,
And he's just beating people up, being like, "Where's my
No,
robot?"
I don't think it's that. I don't think it needs to be that dark. Like, I think it's like a good journey doesn't mean he like has to beat up people along the way.
And maybe, yeah, I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool, sure.
Yeah. And I think seeing the Iron Giant in live action would be super dope. I mean, I guess we've already seen him kind of in Ready Player One, but
Yeah,
it's not really live action. So
yeah,
But yeah, I think it'd be dope. Yeah.
that's a cool one.
Yeah.
cool.
So that's our hypothetical this week. But we're gonna move back on to some trailers, particularly the In a Violent Nature trailer.
Yes,
That's a pretty crazy one. I think
yeah,
I heard about this recently, but the trailer came out like a month ago or something. But yeah, it's like this, the trailer starts off and you're like, you see this guy kind of like walking through the woods, and then this car of teens like drives by and they're all loud and like having a good time, and you just know like, all right, well, there's
just being annoying and happy and full of youth and vigor,
just ruining this guy's day. Just gosh,
God, I used to be young. I fucking hate you. Yeah,
but yeah, it's really like whenever you're following the serial killer, like it feels almost like a third person video game, like you're like directly behind him and you're like a little above, and yeah, you don't get first person views at all. It's just like, yeah, I'm just following this guy killing a bunch of people, teens in the woods. Yeah.
it's
neat.
Yeah, it's IFC's having quite an interesting time lately. They just had Late Night with the Devil come out, and that was a big success. They had that Owen Wilson Paint, what it was called.
Yeah,
it was like the Bob Ross sort of movie. And then this is in like partnership with Shudder, which is a like horror only streaming service. And I'd heard about this movie being, have you ever wanted to see a movie from the serial killer or whoever is the bad guy in a horror movie? And I was like, that's a really interesting thing. I don't know how you pull it off and it still be consistently interesting for a whole movie. But it's cool
that is true, right?
It's cool that it's being attempted.
I think the thing is like, like in my mind, the perfect way this works is if you like go full into the camp, and like I feel like a lot of people like when they go into like a cheesy horror movie, they're like, oh yeah, let's root for the murders to happen in the movie, right? And I feel like you could do that the whole movie with this if it was like pretty campy, but this looks pretty serious. It doesn't seem that campy to me.
I mean, I saw one little blurb that said hilariously brutal.
Oh, okay.
And
so then
amazing.
Maybe it is camp.
I don't know. I mean, part of it also says at least a lot of the reviews or the blurbs are saying like amazing kills, stuff like that.
So you're going for that. You're not really going for like a story per se.
I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like it.
It sounds like it's because in the trailer, I think it remembers like, sorry, it remembers. I remember somebody saying, or like some of the cards saying like a violent animal just like keeps killing. That's all it does.
That was my favorite quote. Yeah. It's like it doesn't get caught up in the reason.
It doesn't get caught up in the reason.
And I was like, that's the pure theme of this movie. I think it's just pure killing to kill. Yeah. Which is weird, but I'm curious for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for it. In an IMDb, it says an ambient horror slasher. So I think with the fact that it says ambient, I don't think I think we're in a it's more of like a mood. It's an atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna, like you said, like just following, like the way that it's shot just feels like we're following this walking monster through the woods, and occasionally he'll find somebody, and then we kill him, and then we move on to the next one.
I do feel like there will be like a jump scare in a sense with the audience, where like he'll like quickly turn around and like look at the camera, maybe, or like, because like we're following him the whole time. I don't think we're expecting him to like look at us as a character. I don't know. Like maybe something like that happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I definitely want to see it. It definitely looks absolutely, it does look brutal.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm down to see it. I don't know if I've ever heard of an ambient horror slasher.
Yeah, and I haven't heard of the writer director of this. His name's Chris Nash. He's done some other horror movies as well. But yeah, this one's in theaters May 31st.
Oh wow, it's
so pretty close.
Really
this
close,
month. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it looks interesting for sure. I don't know. It is
interesting.
I don't know if there's gonna be a whole lot of story to it.
Yeah. So like how do I feel coming out of the theater? I'm just like, wow, I just watched like an hour and a half of murder. That's cool.
But for some of us, that's a fun time.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like I don't go to horror. I'm one of the horror fans that like
stories.
Well, sure, but like slasher, the whole like the kills,
right? The goriness, right?
I like kills, but I'm not like, I don't go just for like to see a movie just for kills. Like when I see Scream, I'm like, I don't know.
No, but Scream's a good play on it. I don't know.
No, for sure. But I'm saying I don't go, like a lot of slashers, like the whole thing is like the kills.
Right.
And like I don't get much out of the kills unless
they're really
I don't know. Well, sometimes if they're too brutal, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
But like I need like something else to pull me in. Is all. That's all.
No, I mean that's fair. Yeah, I mean I need something else to pull me into. So.
Like some people, like my girlfriend does not exactly love action movies because it just feels like it's just for action.
Sure,
and I'm like, look, I hear you.
Yeah.
But I love a good action movie. Like I will watch a movie just for the action. Like The Fall Guy, I think there's a good story to it, but like I'm ultimately wanting to see that movie for the stunts and the action.
Yeah. I agree. No, I'm down to see that one too, to be honest.
And John Wick's a special exception because there's a great story, but let's be honest, I'm there for 10-minute action
Most
scenes.
people are there for the action, right? But the story is a great special, I don't know, sprinkle on top, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're totally on the same page. Yeah. I don't know if I'll 100% commit to seeing this, but I am very curious.
I don't think you're gonna see this.
Yeah. If you go, like if you're up here and we go see it together, I might.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see. Maybe I'll try to plan to be up there so I can force you to watch it.
Yeah. I shouldn't have said that. Huh? Okay. So, but yeah, next trailer we're gonna talk about here is the Eric trailer. I think that came out as of the day we're recording. Maybe I can't remember.
It was fairly recent.
Yeah. And so this one, I think I thought it was going to be a movie, but it is a 6-episode, I think, miniseries starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Gabby Hoffman. Gabby Hoffman, I know her from Winning Time. She was one of the main characters of that show.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's great. So yeah, they play the two parents in the trailer who basically lose their kid. It's kind of implied that, they always let them, not imply, but it's said that they let him walk to school. And there's a really good line in there where somebody just straight up asked the dad, Benedict Cumberbatch, like, do you regret, letting them do that all this time? And he's just like in complete, like, horrified state, shock. So yeah, that's definitely the kind of like vibe of the show. Like immediately you're just like, these parents are traumatized and the world's just throwing them all at it or throwing everything at them. And yeah, the whole vibe of like the city too they're in, like it's like pretty gritty, like it almost gave me kind of Gotham vibes. Like wasn't this the one that like had the rat at the beginning, or maybe I'm thinking of a different. Yeah,
I think
right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, basically throughout the trailer, there's this like imaginary friend that the kid maybe made up.
I think the kid made it up.
Right. But I'm not sure if it's like a character or an imaginary friend.
It seems to be it's like a monster that lives under his bed.
Okay,
that he draws.
Kind of like an imaginary friend. Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, basically, the dad gets this idea that if he makes a puppet of this monster and puts him on, I don't know, like a show they're producing, or I don't know what the show, how he's involved in it.
It's like some kind of. It seems like he's the creator of this like Muppet, Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers like show.
That's funny. I didn't get the vibe that he was the creator, but I would be up for that if he is.
I think he is, like, because there's. I think that's why he like is in wherever he is. Like he makes this thing. He makes the puppet or whatever.
Yeah, no, he knows how to make a puppet.
He knows how to make a puppet.
He does. It's a good looking puppet.
It is a good looking puppet.
And yeah, he believes if the puppet is shown on the show and if his son sees it, he'll want to return home. Like he has the option to maybe leave where he is.
Yeah,
like,
he's tuning in to his favorite show from wherever he is.
Yeah.
Which is most likely kidnapped.
Right. And he probably can't escape the kidnapping.
But he has TV apparently.
Yeah, it's a crazy idea. I don't really know like where it goes. Because of that,
because Eric the monster seems to, and this is probably in his head.
Oh, for sure.
But like becomes a real entity.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe what this trailer is hinting at is that like you're gonna see the journey of the dad like losing his mind. Like maybe that's it. And then he finally is able to like be in a world where like, of like the show he created where like the puppets are talking to him now.
Right.
Like maybe and then maybe he's like truly happy again. I don't know. Maybe it's something like that. But this does not seem like a happy show. It seems very depressing.
It's got I remember from the trailer it said something about from one of the creators of like Chernobyl, which is hands down one of the best things that HBO has ever done.
Ever?
It's got yeah.
I mean, have you seen The Wire?
I said sir.
Oh, I thought you said the best thing. My bad.
No, I said one of.
I was like, whoa, that's a claim.
I love how you go to The Wire and not like something like Game of Thrones or
unfortunately, because of Game of Thrones ending, I got to put The Wire above it.
Yeah, I understand that. But and because Benedict Cumberbatch is attached to it, and it's such an interesting idea. I mean, it's not like I think everything that Benedict Cumberbatch does is necessarily like my favorite thing. But then again, I've not seen everything that Benedict Cumberbatch has done.
And I haven't seen anything that like I've really hated him in. So,
I mean, I would think that, if he likes it and like he's in a point in his career where he can kind of, I would assume, kind of get, or he doesn't have to want for many things. So he obviously wanted to be attached to it.
Yeah, I think he was offered it, obviously.
But it's a really
accepted it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting show idea.
And I think it's interesting too that like he thought the story was strong enough to return to TV, because I don't think he's returned or he's been on TV since like Sherlock, right?
He was in I'll pull it up. He was in some other TV show.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I believe. Let me see. I mean, I don't know if you count like the shorts that he did with Wes Anderson.
No, because I mean those are short movies, you know.
Um, let's see.
I still want to see those.
Great British Theater.
Yeah, never heard of it.
I think there was a Brexit TV movie. I don't know if that counts necessarily.
It is TV, so I'll give it that. I'll give it that. You return to TV for that.
I think besides that, it was only Sherlock.
Yeah,
That was the only other thing was Sherlock. So
he likes those short seasons, you know.
Yeah,
4-episode Sherlock, 6 episodes for this. So.
I thought he was in something else that was on TV, but I guess not. But
yeah, this one's super close to coming out. This one's May 30th this year.
Right.
I don't know where it's coming out. Actually, Netflix, you said, right?
Netflix.
Yeah. So cool.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if it, honestly, it's hard for me to tell. Like, I can't tell if releasing this like a month out shows like, oh, this is just a new way of promoting to get like interest peaked. So you don't lose it.
I think that might be it.
Or is it like
they have no faith in it and they're just like marketing it at the last second?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would hope not.
I think this looks too quality, and like you have Benedict Cumberbatch where like, you know, you probably shouldn't waste his talent, you know?
Yeah, I think it's probably the former.
I also think it's like a really cool step for Netflix. Like I don't think I've seen a show like this from them, you know?
Like, what do you mean?
Like something like really out of the box, but like really dark at the same time, and also like a very short season, you know, like a 6-episode season. I don't remember any other 6 episodes. I mean, I'm sure Netflix puts out a ton of shit that I just don't know about, you know, because they just have hundreds of thousands of movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It feels different for Netflix, and I think it's a cool
to do a short series. Yeah. And congrats on them for, you know, getting the actor and people who did Chernobyl. So
for sure. Well, yeah, I think that's all the trailers we had to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, I think next we wanted to discuss some cool Fallout news. A few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago, we got the confirmation that season 2 is confirmed for next year, I'm assuming. And
no surprise considering this is, I believe, the most watched show.
Second most
watched show.
So Rings of Power still beat it.
But the best show out of the top 2, because Rings of Power was not. It wasn't terrible, but it was. Yeah, it was.
I still haven't gotten to see it because like of your review. Like I'm just like,
it had one pretty great episode, and the rest.
You were saying
the rest were okay. And you don't want Lord of the Rings, which was like, and a show that costs like. I forget how much it costs to make that show, but
I think they bought the rights to it for like, gosh, I don't know. It was a crazy amount of money.
Right,
and then
it was a lot of money.
But then on the one season, they spent like $400 million, I think. Like
there was a lot of money,
which was like mind blowing amount of money for one season. I think they might have been like all in $700 million, like on the seat because they bought the rights for like 300.
Right.
And
whew.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you have to make 4 other seasons now just to get your money back.
Right.
So
no surprise that they're making a season 2 for Fallout. It's been incredibly. It's been received incredibly well. And on top of that news, we got an interview with Jonathan Nolan, who was talking about, or was it Jonathan Nolan or was it Todd Howard? I think it was Jonathan Nolan who.
I think it was Jonathan Nolan
who wrote the series and did Westworld and directed the first 3 episodes. Who was talking about in an interview with The Wrap that there were a lot of things that they wanted to, tackle. But it was kind of like, we're going to do a marathon. We're not going to do everything all at once, which I appreciate as a Fallout fan. I think
That's great.
you don't want to just be like, oh, look, there's that thing and there's that thing, and then there's nothing to look forward to for the rest of the show.
They did it a couple of times in the first season, but like it didn't feel forced. It felt like world building to me.
Right, exactly. And there's so many things that we haven't seen.
Yep.
That, so I think with that being said, what he was referring to was that there's most notably not death claws in season 1, which if you don't know, a death claw is probably the worst thing that you could run into in the game.
Yeah. You would have expected probably the Knight Titus original guy to shit his pants if he saw one of those. So yeah. He's just going in a fetal position and dying. I don't think
if you thought
death claw.
A Yao guy or a Gulper was bad, you have no idea. And it's basically, if you don't know, it's a mutated Jackson's chameleon. It's terrifying. It's also extremely cool. And we see a skull of it that Hank is walking towards and past when he shows up at New Vegas. And he basically was saying, where's the quote? The team wanted to have death claws in season 1, but decided to save them for season 2 to quote to be able to do it properly. And then he was basically saying just not exactly confirming it, but in a way confirming it because they were talking about it and they were like, we're looking very forward to being able to show one of the most exciting things about the game, as well as him, without mentioning New Vegas, basically saying, I'm very excited to be able to go to a locale that's very close to my heart, which is New Vegas.
Right.
Me and Ian were talking like, that's super cool. And like, what else would we want to maybe see in Fallout Season 2? Personally, we don't have to go there. We could just like kind of walk through it for a bit if we wanted to. Could be just a little thing to look at. Maybe walk through Good Springs for a second,
Oh yeah.
I would like to see like one of the Robotrons, security guard kind of guys. That would be fun. I think you can't go to New Vegas and not see one of those. I feel like that would be a bummer.
No, I feel that.
I wonder if we could maybe go to the Jacobstown settlement where you have, I think her name is Helen.
Yeah.
Which is a super mutant who was in one of the vaults, I believe, up there, or she was like fleeing from somewhere. I can't remember, but it was like a super mutant community.
That's cool.
Up in Jacobstown. So I definitely would like to see some super mutants.
Yeah, I'd love to see super mutants.
I feel like I need to see a rad scorpion if we're gonna go into the desert of all places.
Yeah, for sure.
Besides that, I mean, I don't think that they should touch the vault. That's like, I think if anything, like I'd like some newer places that we haven't seen in New Vegas, if possible. Yeah. And it is like 15 years. Like there's new things that have probably sprouted up, which would be really cool to see. I don't really want to retread of things that we've already seen. Obviously like a little bit, but like even the idea of seeing New Vegas, but it's like run down is already new in itself because it's not what it's supposed to be exactly. But yeah, I mean, those things would be cool, but like we don't need to see the vault that like was all turned into plants, even though very cool. Though it could be cool to, and depending on how you do the mission, the Brotherhood of Steel outfit that's hiding out.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see that again. Yeah,
but depending on how you did it, they might all be dead.
Well, what do you? I mean, they have the power core back. I mean, they wouldn't. Oh, you mean like the Brotherhood of Steel might be dead? or
You
what?
because you can decide to basically kill them all down there
Oh, well, but
at New
they
Vegas.
okay, but you're not talking about the power armor that Maximus left.
No. I'm talking about
No, okay.
like in New Vegas. There's the Brotherhood of Steel missions, and they're all like downstairs, down in this bunker.
I didn't get that far into New Vegas, to be honest. You played a lot
Okay.
more than I did. I only
Okay,
played
never
like
mind,
30 hours, 40 hours. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, anyways, but yeah, what would you like to see in season
So
2?
my stuff is kind of like East Coast related stuff, but like like I said it last week or maybe the week before, I'd love to see synths again. Maybe just like even if it's just one, I would love to see a synth.
And I think there's like that
maybe
rumor,
Moldaver.
Moldaver might be a synth.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. Like Cryo, there's well, maybe not a lot, but it's either Cryo or synth. God, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how else. Yeah, Cryo or synth.
But there was that one thing though that Cooper said to her about like, I'm sorry, like I don't believe in like what about like people believing in like preserving bloodlines or something? Like I don't know if there's something going on with there. Like I was like, that's a weird comment. What is that in reference to?
Oh yeah, I guess it could be cloning too. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't she bleed at the end at the last episode? So she couldn't really be a synth, right?
Feel like it could be cloning.
Could be cloning. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I'd love to see maybe like I don't know what their deal is now in this universe, but like the Children of Adam are always kind of like a neat story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That would be cool.
Always kind of another radical group to throw in there.
Yeah.
Kind of religious. I always love those kind of like religious groups in Fallout. I'd love to see a Mirelurk. I think those are always kind of like, and I think that translate pretty well to like live action. I'd love to see like that gross ass creature. Or
the Kings if they're still around.
I don't remember the Kings. Mirelurk Kings. Oh, is that what you
mean? No. There's a gang in New Vegas called the Kings, and they all dress up as Elvis.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. That.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, I'd love to see. I mean, I doubt they're still around, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think you kind of hit the like nail on the head earlier. You were like I'd rather see some newer like vaults and whatnot, because like I think like some of the strongest parts of this season like that we just watched was like the new shit they added, like the new story of like the vault they came from, the story of like Vault 4. Was it Vault 4? Of like the mutated people. Like those are really cool stories, and yeah, I don't think I need to revisit any old vaults, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you already mentioned a ton of stuff I'd like to see too. So yeah, mainly some just cool creatures, and then maybe some groups that we've met in the past, but
maybe just one radio transmission of like, I'm Mr. New Vegas and you're listening to New Vegas Radio.
Three Dog was for 3, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, that would be great if we're going full New Vegas. I wonder how old he was then, though. You know, like would he still be around 15 years?
I don't know.
Yeah,
there would be. It could be cool, but don't need it. But
I love that every like area too though has like their own radio guy. Like it's just no matter where you go, you got a radio to listen to. Yeah.
And one of the things that's interesting about that place that they could go into depth about was New Vegas has a lot of like Helios, like. I think they had something to do with sun power. They had at least one. I remember one big like what would you call that, solar power plant of sort. And there was also like Big Mountain was another one of the companies. So like Helios, Big Mountain, Robco, that like they were all like there's big. Those companies all had a big presence in New Vegas. Right. So I wonder if like we would get to see like a bit of like what's going on with those members of when they show up at that Vault Tech meeting, like we see like what came about their, like what their plans were.
Right. What vaults they controlled. Right.
I don't know if they'll do that, but it could be cool.
Yeah, it might be too on the nose, but yeah, I think it could be cool to see some of their plans, right?
Yeah, like I would like to know how, like, what Helios and these other companies, huge monopoly companies, were about, I guess. But we don't need it, I guess.
No,
but
we don't need it.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, yeah, most of what you said, I'd love to see. Yeah,
but I want a super mutant.
Yes, and they hinted that though too at the end of the season. Like one of them is like, I think one of them mentions like
like a bunch of
super mutants, right?
Yeah, like and we'll test it all on like illegal immigrants or something.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool. I mean, and if they want to save that for season 3, like I guess it would just get me more hyped. But I'd like to see it.
I was gonna say if there's a season 3, but I'm assuming there's gonna be more than 2 seasons. If
season 2 is as good as season 1, I hope there would be a season 3.
Yeah, and I hope they don't. I mean, like, if the story's good enough and like they have a good ending spot, then I guess I wouldn't be like incredibly upset. But I would love to see it continue, to be honest. Yeah.
But those are like the bare minimum. I think if you're gonna go to New Vegas, I would like to see.
Yeah. Well, just super mutants or what?
No,
just like all the stuff you've mentioned, or
death claws, rad scorpions. I forget what else I said, but
the Kings.
Yes. The Kings, you don't need, but the Robotrons. I need to see the Robotrons because they're cool and they're unique and they're fun.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, I guess we didn't see one in season 1. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, we have a couple more topics, MCU related, and first one being is new Captain America look. There's been, I mean, for a long time, there's been
a new Captain America.
Yeah,
he's got a new look.
He does.
And sorry, you were saying?
You're fine. So yeah, basically, like for probably months now, we've seen what the suit will look like, but I don't think any of us had any idea there'd be a helmet. And it's pretty confirmed. There's been like pictures of promotional items with the helmet. And it's kind of a mix between like a Top Gun like flight helmet and like Ant-Man's helmet.
Yeah.
You know? And
and if anybody wants to look it up, there's like a logo kind of thing that I particularly saw.
Yeah, with the Falcon too, where it's like
with Falcon and then Captain America, and like each one is a part of the wing of the wings of this symbol, or like of almost like the Falcon symbol, I guess. Yeah. And they both have helmets. And like you were saying, like I didn't think there was going to be a helmet involved. It makes sense, but I'm not
barely.
Look. If they're flying at high altitude, there's been no indication that it's needed because Sam was flying around just fine.
I mean, for years he was flying around. I mean, like, remember the first scene of A Falcon Winter Soldier where he's like, I mean, he's high speed flying through like canyons, and I know it's not high altitude, but like, I don't know.
So it depends on what it's for, and we don't know. And I'm not going to hate it just because I don't know. And maybe it serves a purpose, and maybe we see it and we're like, oh, that's badass. But like first reaction, I don't love it. Feels a little strange for it feels a little strange for Captain America. I already feel, with regards to his suit, I already feel that I am looking at like Sam wanting, like it's like they couldn't, it feels like to me that Marvel couldn't just let him have his own unique suit. It had to look and feel like, I understand they want to go back to Winter Soldier, but it doesn't have to look like he's in Captain America Winter Soldier.
I mean, it looks like, one of Steve's old suits almost, you know, and
which could be cool. Like the story, if that's the story, like, my suit got ruined, I guess I'll just use like Steve's old one. Like I could appreciate that, but
I mean, I wouldn't want an exact, but like if he modifies it in some way, I guess, sure, I don't know, right? But like I think I think you introduced us at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier to like his signature look in the comics, you know, where he's got like a lot of white in the suit and he's got the cowl and it's a red, white, and blue suit. But this just feels like it's Steve, like it's another Steve suit, and it doesn't feel like Falcon at all. It's
like goggles back.
Yeah, like that's I get it. I get why they had to get the goggles back, but like the cowl was so good looking. Like it really like captured like around the face, and but now you just got these like glasses. Like I don't know. It's just the whole suit's just like gone to shit since Falcon Winter Soldier for me. And I don't know. It's disappointing.
Which, like, look, it's not gonna make or break the movie. Like, you know, I don't care that much.
Right.
It just would have been cool to see. But yeah, regarding the helmet,
that
again,
might be the worst part, to be honest.
It's not like it's also not that important, but I think just, you know, because I can, I'm just gonna be like, well, I don't know. I'm sure there's a story reason for it.
Like it has to be for high out. I mean, there's no other reason. And if it's not for that, I mean, I'll be so pissed. I guess like, you know, and I don't know if this is like controversy.
You know what I think it could.
Oh,
sorry, go on. No.
But like in my mind, and I've seen other people like say this too, like why in the first movie of a Black Captain America are you like hiding his face and skin color? Like I don't know. It's just so. It's such a bad afterthought. It's so unnecessary. Like I don't think he's ever had a helmet in the comics. Like, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me, you know?
I have one theory about it.
Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying.
Right.
I would say I hear what people are saying about that, but he's not going to be wearing that helmet the entire movie. We clearly are going to know that he's a Black Captain America.
But if he's like in that helmet for like the entire like final act, that's a really like huge like downside of this movie for sure.
Here's my theory. If it's not for high altitude, which it could, but my theory is I think it would be detrimental to the character to have like to become a super soldier, especially after everything with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, and we know that Red Hulk is involved. So how does a non superpowered individual fight something like that? I'm not saying it is going to be, but it's like some kind of Iron Man kind of suit.
Right, like he's got like the Black Panther suit that's made out of vibranium, isn't it? Or
yes,
yeah. So and his suit is also made out of vibranium, I think.
Yes,
Right. So maybe he got a helmet commission from Wakanda, and you know, because he needs the full protection from Red Hulk. Maybe that's it. It's not a bad theory. Because like if he gets punched in the face, then he just dies. He just dies, you know?
He dies, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So and I would hope it's maybe not Red Hulk he's fighting, but
it is. It's going to be
confirmed.
I mean, he's in it. He's definitely in the movie.
But like maybe that's a later date, like with a different hero. Like I don't know. Like maybe Red Hulk shows up in Thunderbolts.
No, he's going to be in this movie.
I know he's going to be in it, but like maybe he doesn't maybe Captain America doesn't have to fight him in this movie, you know? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe with Falcon's support, he can do some shit to Red Hulk. But I'm very excited to see Joaquin Torres, I think his name is.
Yeah.
As Falcon. Like I don't think the suit's amazing for Falcon, but like it works, and
it works. It's fine.
You know, he's a new character,
functional.
So I'm not like super pressed about a Falcon suit. I mean, obviously Anthony Mackie's was better, but you know, it's fine. It's I'm way more upset about Captain America.
It just kind of looks like an army suit, you know, and it makes sense.
I mean, and he was in the army. You know, I think he still might be in the army.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that makes sense. He's probably like maybe like how Steve was, you know, like in the 40s, he was kind of like the army's like poster boy. Like maybe he's now the like US Army's like poster boy. Could be.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe. Um well, the other interesting news about Captain America, I should say, is that it's been reported, specifically by the Twitter user My Time to Shine Hello, that Captain America, Steve Rogers, Chris Evans version is going to be returning to Avengers: Secret Wars. I think it's possible. I'm not going to say it's not, but I think like I guess why I'm skeptical about it is because like he said multiple times like he would never come back, maybe not never, but like he's going to be very picky when he chooses to return if he does, because like he doesn't want to ruin the story that's already been laid out. He wants to make sure the story is like really well done and perfect for him. And I don't even know if the script has been written yet for Avengers: Secret Wars, you know, like
It's being written.
right, but like he hasn't seen it. I think the only way you convince him to come back is if like Kevin Feige talked to him and he's like, "Hey, you know, these are our plans for Secret Wars and for your character, and we'd love for you to come back," and kind of like lays out details about his character and that story, which would be, I mean, I think is possible. But I think I would want. I mean, I just feel like Chris Evans would want to see a script first before like committing. You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I guess we should add that like this Twitter user is like has a lot of things that are right. Has a lot of things that are
they're like a
not true.
scooper. Right. Right.
I am inclined to believe that this is true.
Okay.
Because I think there's been alongside what you've been saying, but there's been a lot of talk over the past like 6 to 9 months where Chris Evans has been like, well, you know, it would have to be the right thing, but like I'm definitely like wouldn't be opposed to it. Right. And you know, there hasn't been a whole lot of like, nah, that, you know, this is done, I'm over it. And it's been in the news quite a bit. And I think on top of the fact that Secret Wars already feels like it's going to be this big reset moment, they could really use somebody like Chris Evans right now to come back.
I mean, from what I'm hearing about Secret Wars 2 is like they're trying, like the article I read, like that kind of had this report in it, was saying that like they're probably or most likely trying to get the entire like 6 back for Secret Wars, like the original 6, which I don't know. I think it would be a really great moment, sure. I don't think it's necessary, you know? I don't.
It's not necessary.
I don't need. I don't know. I guess like I don't really want to see Steve and Iron Man and Black Widow return because like their stories really ended for me. Like I don't need an alternate version coming in and being like, "Hey, I'm Steve." You know, I don't know. It's just like I just don't. I don't need it. You know.
Sure. Yeah. And like personally, like honestly, I don't want it unless it does something for the character or it does something
right
for one of our other characters where it like does something like it is an important thing for them. Right. Because we could say like, this is not our Captain America, but it does something to like Anthony Mackie's character or Sebastian Stan's character, or you know, who knows. But I do think that it's probably gonna happen.
I think you're right. I mean, like,
and if it's not Secret Wars, there was the mention that he would be in Deadpool and Wolverine, and I do think that there's a possibility that he could have like a tiny little cameo as either old man Steve Rogers, like on the moon or something, or him as Johnny Storm.
I think we'll never see old Steve Rogers again.
We are going to the moon, and we're gonna see him on the moon because that's where he is.
He's not on the moon. Okay?
He is on the moon.
Zach, he's dead. I'm sorry.
He's not dead. He's dead, on the moon.
Zach. Is it confirmed he's on the moon? No, it's not. Okay.
It's not confirmed that he's dead.
Yeah, well, okay, well, you can't be so sure that he's alive, you know? Like, you seem pretty 100% positive.
I think Anthony Mackie, I think Sam and Bucky would be a lot more sad at the end during Falcon and Winter Soldier if he was dead.
Why would he be on the moon? Like, what's on the moon that Steve needs to see?
Why is Nick Fury in space?
Because he's got a whole new organization that has a space station, you know?
And why can't Steve Rogers be doing something in partnership with Sword on the base? On the moon.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming you mean Saber.
Saber.
Yeah. I wish it was Sword too, to be honest. God, I wonder where Sword went.
By the way, I watched I watched the Marvels.
Oh, you finally watched it.
Okay. What a waste organization.
Oh, sorry, you broke up there. What'd you say?
Sorry, what a waste of an organization.
Oh, I know it. I know it. Saber was so they were like the butt of the joke of that movie, to be honest.
Yeah. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah. I want to know where Sword is.
It died with Maria Hill.
But isn't that so sad that, like, I don't know, Maria Hill like spent her whole life building up Sword, and then like as soon as her daughter comes back, it's just gone. Like, I don't know. Maybe not Maria. Oh, not Maria Hill. I meant I was thinking of Monica Rambeau's mom.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think back to the Chris Evans stuff. I think it's very possible he's back as Johnny Storm in this Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And I do think he'll come back for Secret Wars. I just don't think he's maybe agreed yet. You know, I think he needs to see the full script. This is my prediction, and then he'll agree if it's great. You know.
Yeah.
But I think they're probably in talks. I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is the wrap up for our podcast topics here.
Yep.
Now it's the segment where we talk about what we watched in the last week. I don't know if you've gotten to watch anything yet.
I have been continuing to rewatch The Last of Us. Nice. Got to the Sam and Henry episode.
Good episode.
And besides that, been watching Three Body Problem.
Nice. How's it?
Incredible.
Nice.
Fantastic. I feel so spoiled that I get to watch Fallout, Three Body Problem, Dune Part 2, Shogun,
right?
All in the same year because honestly, Three Body Problem is like the author behind that book, what an incredible premise. It's so interesting. The mystery is like indelible. It's like if I didn't have to work and do other things, I would just watch this show.
I remember we were really excited about the trailer when it came out.
Right.
And I didn't realize it had come out yet. So that's cool. That's cool.
The whole thing is out. It's been out for a minute, and it's still in the top 10 on Netflix, which is great.
I don't know why I didn't hear about it until now that you're just talking about it, but I guess it got overshadowed by other things, maybe.
I don't know. People are still watching it a lot.
Cool.
But it's great. I was gonna say there was things about it that I was worried about. There's aspects of it in the trailer that you're like, oh, this gets really weird.
For sure.
It all works very well. I'm not gonna say that the CGI for some of those bits didn't look. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I totally believe that shot, but it's fine for what it is.
Right.
But for the most part, fantastic.
Sick.
Really great.
Sick.
Yeah. And I think
go on.
I think that's literally it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I started Shogun. Only seen episode 1, but episode 1 blew me away, dude. Like, wow. I think
Yeah.
I mean, like everything about it is great. Like literally, like cinematography, the tone of the world, sets, the castles look great.
The actors.
I mean, I'm just like I'm immediately invested in like in the ship that you know that has the Protestants on it, and then the you know the war, the basically the impending doom of this like conflict that's going to come between the 5 I don't know what you call them, but
Daimos.
like the 5 daimos who are kind of the leaders of Japan until this kid becomes, you know, an adult. And yeah, I mean it was all so good. And then like the guy who like takes a liking to the main white guy. I mean, I don't know anybody's name yet, to be honest. But
John Blackthorne.
Oh, right, John Blackthorne. He
Toranaga.
Like, the my favorite moment in the entire episode was the and spoilers for everybody out there, but he like basically the John Blackthorne like is like insistent on going to rescue the Spaniard, right? And
oh yeah.
Right, because he falls overboard.
Right. Yeah.
And so they find him and they don't let John Blackthorne like go down and rescue him because they need him alive. And so, you know, he's like John turns to the main, you know, Japanese dude. And what'd you say his name was?
Well,
it's not who you were thinking of.
Well, are you talking about the guy that goes down into the water?
Yes.
He's not the main guy.
Well, no, I'm not saying he's the main, but like of like their area that they're in, like he's in charge right now. You know?
It's like Yubashige or something like that.
Right. And so he goes down. I mean, he takes a nasty fall. I thought he was dead, honestly.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, well, that was fast. And then he gets up. He gets in he tries to go down and rescue the guy, and he falls into the water. And he's struggling to stay alive, and he looks up, pulls out his sword, and John is just like, oh my god, like he's gonna kill himself, and you know they get to the rope to him in time, and they save him, and you can tell that like John was so changed by what he just saw. Like he was like, wow, these people aren't what I thought they were. You know, like he keeps calling them savages. They're in a savage land. But yeah, and then the final shot of the episode is like them seeing Osaka for the first time, and it's this like beautiful city, and yeah, he's got to come to terms with the fact that like this isn't a land to be conquered. You know, it's a land that's already been conquered. So, yeah, I think it's a great episode, and I'm so excited to see the rest of it.
Yeah.
So
it's great.
Yeah. But that's about it. Well, I guess I watched episode 7 this past week as well. Star Wars episode 7. One of my least favorite of the franchise. But
it's a damn shame.
As a movie, you know, and I discussed, like I watched this with our friend Ryan, and as a movie, like I think we're kind of in agreement that like it's not a bad movie. It's like, but as a Star Wars movie, like it's not it for me, you know, like, but if I want to like turn my brain off and like say, this is just like some Star Wars type movie. I don't know. It's like the story that's there isn't bad. It's just, it's been done before, you know? And, yeah, I don't know. So it gets kind of boring to the end. Yeah, I don't know, but it's a decent story, and it gets me to episode 8, which we're watching tonight. So I love episode 8.
Are you gonna watch 9?
No. So what I'm gonna there's a podcast.
You're not gonna watch 9. That's impressive. You gotta watch 9.
No, hold on. So let me explain.
It.
So there's a podcast
it's garbage
that's out there. Yeah, it's pure garbage. There's a podcast out there that has like narrated the original script for episode 9, and so
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Okay.
gonna do. I'm gonna like basically have the original episode 9 be canon in my head, and not have this atrocity that's canon out there. So, but yeah, and then we'll probably go back and watch like Mandalorian and shit, and yeah, because I don't think Ryan's watched that, but
And Boba Fett.
yeah, there's some good stuff in Boba Fett, but that ending is just terrible. So yeah, we'll have to watch Boba Fett as well, but we don't have to watch season 3 Mandalorian, so screw that. But yeah, but that's about all I've watched this week. That's it for the podcast this week. Thank you as always for watching and listening to us. If you want to listen to us and watch us in the future, we drop our episodes on Monday mornings on Podbean, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, as well as YouTube. And if you want to follow us on our socials, our links to Instagram and TikTok are in the description below. And if you want to support us one more time, we would always appreciate a like, a comment, a rating, a review, or a subscribe.
Don't make a diss track about us. I don't want a diss track about us.
Well, now you've just welcomed it. Somebody's going to do it now just because you said
really don't want a diss track about us.
Oh, okay. So you do want one.
Wink. Leave the lyrics in the comment section.
Uh-huh.
And until next time.